Well, hello everybody, it's me, Dee, and welcome to Tea Time. I am so happy to see you here today, and I actually just kind of wanted to share a personal vlog, kind of about my personal growth and my path to happiness, basically, and let's get started. So, I just kind of want to start with a little bit about my background. I don't want to get too in detail into it because it's still something that, as a person, I don't necessarily want to share with the world just yet. But I had a very rough childhood growing up. My life definitely wasn't average. My mother left when I was very young, probably around 6 months old, we'll say. I don't actually know because I wasn't there. I don't know when she left. So at that point, my grandparents stepped in and they helped raise my brother and I. And since I was so young when my mother left, I never really had an understanding of why my mom wasn't in my life. My grandmother and my grandpa are basically who I called mom and dad, and my dad was always in the picture. But just, being adopted and not having an actual mother figure and just having a life different than everybody else's, it was really hard growing up. I was very introverted. I didn't know how to put myself out there and be confident. I didn't know how to make friends. I to this day, still have very few close friends. I like to keep my friends close and just a close few of them because, I don't know, I've just always been that way. I've always been a very introverted, kind of quiet, subtle person, and I know it might not seem like that in my videos, but that is because I don't know, I like to be happy and bubbly for you guys, and even though I am introverted, don't take that as like a fact of me being negative or me being pessimistic or whatever, because I am a very happy person. Though I am very introverted, I just like my personal time. I'm sure everybody does, right? So, I'm 23 and I have not always been happy, of course. I know not everybody is always happy, and there's, of course, times in life when it is okay to be sad. Things happen and we deserve to feel our feelings when we need to feel them. But I know a lot of people who struggle with depression and who struggle with not knowing how to be happier or live a happier life. And I just wanted to share this video and let you know that you're not alone. There's a lot of us out here who struggle with depression and who deal with, being unhappy and not necessarily knowing how to fix that. And I just kind of wanted to share a few of my experiences, that I've had, just to kind of give you guys input and see, I don't know, just to share with you guys and just show you that everybody has their own battles that we fight, and it is possible to persevere and be happy through those hard times. So, like I said, growing up, it was really rough for me. Elementary school, I was really introverted. Middle school, I got pretty extroverted, actually. I started cheerleading. I was really happy-go-lucky. I was just kind of wild. I didn't care what anybody thought about me. I just did my thing. And I loved my life, and I had really awesome friends, and I had a really good time doing what I was doing. And about the time that I was 13 years old, I actually lost my grandfather. I was in 8th grade, getting ready to promote into high school, and just went through a really, really dramatic experience with that. It just really changed my outlook on life and everything that was happening around me, and I just began to kind of seclude myself from everything, from friends, from family, from school. I had one really close friend in high school whose name was Katie, and she was so awesome and always supportive of me, and just, I don't know, she was the most amazing friend that I had in my childhood and in my youth years. We kind of fell apart growing up, but just not really having a place in life is what I felt like. I felt like I didn't belong anywhere. I didn't know how to connect with people. I had lost all communication, it seemed like. I didn't know how to go out and make friends and how to introduce myself to people. It was just a really weird and hard experience. And all through high school I dealt with that. I had up and down phases where, of course, I would make more friends and get more outgoing. And then I would just kind of seclude myself again and get really depressed and not know what to do with myself. And I don't want to talk too much about my high school experience because that's probably a topic I could talk about forever and make another vlog for you guys about. But, you know, as I grew up and I got older and I kind of just started realizing that my happiness depended upon myself rather than anybody else's, and I just kind of started living my life for me. And I was so happy. I was 18 years old. I had just got out of high school. I was so happy. I was, you know, living the life. I was working. I worked a part-time job, but I was making decent money and I was living at home, so I had nothing to do but hang out with my friends and spend my money, or so I thought. And sadly, I got involved in some stupid things. I started drinking. I started messing around with other substances that were not safe. I started smoking. I just let myself go, really. I let myself go down a path that I never thought I would go down. And it was a very depressing time, yet at the same time a very eye-opening experience. I learned a lot about myself, definitely, and you know, it just really took me into a place in life. I got to a point where I just knew I needed to change my lifestyle. I knew I needed to change everything that I was doing, because if I didn't, I was going to kill myself. Not because I wanted to commit suicide or anything, but just because of the things that I was consuming. It just wasn't a good time in my life, and it wasn't safe. And so I, you know, pretty much made a pact with myself. I think it was in April of 2010. It was the year after I graduated high school, that I was no longer going to be doing those things that I did anymore. And I stuck with it. And for the first 2 years after that, I still really didn't feel happy. I knew I had quit doing all of the things that were bad for me, and I was working again, and I was living the life of an average person, but I was just extremely unhappy. I hated my job. I hated everything about my life. You know, and I just let myself get into a really bad downward spiral. And it came to a point where I realized that I was no longer moving in any direction at all. I had kind of just come to a standstill in life, and things were like progressively getting worse, but it wasn't happening at a fast pace. Like, I was slowly getting less hours at work. I was slowly unable to pay my rent. I was slowly unable to purchase food for myself. And I realized that something in my life needed to change. I wasn't really sure what it was, but I knew I needed to fix something. So I ended up moving home with my parents and kind of just taking time to myself and letting myself grow and kind of develop as a person on my own. And I continued working. I was working full time. I was living at home with my parents. And, you know, living at home with your parents isn't the best thing, but I definitely did gain a sense of happiness again. You know, I felt free in a sense because I had more time and money to do what it was that I wanted. But I also had the weight hanging over my head of knowing that I'm living at my parents' house, knowing that I'm not successful, knowing that I'm not going to college, I'm not really doing anything other than working at a hardware store. And to me, that is definitely not a sign of success. And so again, I was like in a point where I was mildly happy, but I was still like not in a place in life where I should have been, and I wasn't feeling happy enough to feel successful or feeling like I had accomplished anything in life. And that's actually when I met my neighbor, oddly enough, and he helped me fix my car. But we ended up, started hanging out, started talking, started dating, and I ended up moving with him from the town that I lived in up north a little bit in California. And it really probably was the best thing that I've ever done for myself. I moved myself away from the negativity that I had in my life. I am not saying my family caused negativity in my life, but there was other things in the area that I was in that was just bringing negativity towards me. And so just removing myself from that place, I guess I should share a little bit about where I grew up with you guys. I grew up in the middle of the desert, in the Mojave Desert of Southern California, in a town called Victorville. I doubt you've ever heard of it. If you have, post it in the comments below, because if you're from there, hi! Anyways, so I grew up in this desert town. There's not much opportunity. There's a community college. and there's lots of corporation stores, there's a little mall, or, you know, it's just kind of like a dirt town. There's like not much there, and I just felt like I had so much potential, you know? I felt like I had so much potential and I couldn't reach it anywhere where I was at because the population was so dense. The chances of me getting into college or getting a job or getting into a good college were just not there for me. So it was definitely a great choice for me to take to move to a new town. Of course, I didn't know anybody there. And that is something that kind of did cause me to get a little bit depressed. I knew nobody in the town I was living in, but of course we moved to a town where my boyfriend grew up, and so he had friends, and we started hanging out with them and getting to know them, and of course that kind of changed my mood to being a little bit more positive. And he actually had one friend who came around and he introduced us into basically the jobs that we have now, and kind of taught us a lot about personal development and just growing yourself as a person and how much it really can change your attitude on life. And so I started thinking about it, and I was like, you know what, I really do need to start reading some more personal development. I read this book when I was 18 years old called The 4 Agreements, and it was really just like a life-changing book, and I kind of let myself forget all of the stuff that I had learned, and so I forgot how to be happy. And it wasn't until I started relearning personal development and growing myself that I actually really started to realize what it was preventing me from being happy. And I had to take a deep look into myself and just realize that the problems that I'm having aren't as crazy and outstanding and traumatic as they need to be, that I personally just need to look within myself and realize where these feelings are coming from and why I'm feeling these feelings, why I feel so anxious, why I feel so depressed, why I feel angry, you know, and confused and lost. And once I started really looking into myself and kind of asking myself those questions, I had like a massive breakthrough. And this is kind of something that I want to share with you guys, because to me, this was like the subconscious factor to me that told myself, like, you are on the right track, girl, like, you are doing everything right, you are gaining so much confidence. Anyways, so basically I had a dream a couple of nights ago. If you follow me on my personal Facebook account, you've probably maybe read my post about it, but if not, I'll share it with you guys. Anyways, so the other night I had this dream, and I was back in high school, and these were probably like the most insecure times of my life. Like, these were the times when I just felt like I didn't deserve anything. I was not smart. I was not beautiful. I did not, you know, deserve friends. I didn't deserve anything. I was just like really low at that point. And so my life was so hard. I used to have dreams where people would try to fight me, or people would try to kidnap me, or, you know, I once had this dream where I was swimming in a pool, and I swim underwater, and I try to come back up out of the water, but there was like a plastic covering over my head, and I couldn't get out, and I was suffocating, and I just couldn't breathe, and there was nothing that I could do to change the situation. And in the dreams where I was being kidnapped, I tried to scream, and I couldn't scream, or I tried to run, and I couldn't run. And that, to me, was kind of like a subconscious thought telling myself, like, you have no confidence, you can't do anything, you can't stand up for yourself, you know? And so I had this dream a couple of nights ago where I was back in high school again. I know I already said that, but back on track. And there was this girl who I remember from high school, and I remember her not being so nice. And she said something in my dream, and I don't remember it word for word because I didn't write it down. But she was just talking smack, and she said something to me, and I just looked at her, and I stood up, and I said, girl, if you have something to say to me, say it to my freaking face, or back the hell off, because I don't even want to deal with it. And she just backed off and left me alone, and I woke up feeling so proud. And it probably sounds really weird to you guys, but to me, subconsciously, that was telling myself, like, wow, you have grown so much as a person. And I'm not saying I don't like this girl to this day, because I have no, connections with her at all. But just the fact that my mind was able to confront somebody who was confronting me, the fact that I was able to stand up for myself and be confident in what I had to say, was just, I don't know, it was like an awing, like humbling experience. I was like, wow, I really am on the right track. Everything I'm doing is right. I am really like working towards everything that I planned on having. And so just, I don't know, it's crazy. It's really crazy. Just the fact that working on growing yourself as a person and just kind of realizing who you are just kind of like changes the outlook that you have on life and makes you feel happier and confident. And when you can feel confident and feel like you know what you're doing, then you just, you know, happiness comes along with it. I just wanted to share a couple of things really quick with you guys. Just because these are some tips that might actually help you. I know most of the vlog was just me kind of sharing about my personal experiences, but I actually mentioned this book that I read back when I was in high school, and that is the book The 4 Agreements. And the 4 Agreements, what they are is basically there is, or was, I'm not sure if they're still in existence, this tribe of people called the Toltecs, and they were kind of like spiritual warriors. They believed in personal, I guess, personal freedom and just kind of like basically living your reality and living what you want to do and being happy. And anyways, so they had these 4 agreements that basically they believed if you followed these 4 agreements that you would find your path to personal happiness and personal freedom. And so I just wanted to share those 4 agreements with you guys today. And basically the first agreement is just to be impeccable with your word. And what I mean by being impeccable with your word is to always speak with integrity, speak with truth, try not to gossip about people, don't spread rumors. We don't need any more negativity or any more negative energy flowing around on this planet. There is just already so much concentrated negativity. So just try to be that light. Stop being negative. Speak good. Speak truths. Hold yourself accountable to your word. If you tell somebody you're going to do something, do it because they're holding you accountable. And if you can't hold yourself accountable, nobody can hold you accountable. So that's the first one, is just to be impeccable, because you will notice that if you are speaking nothing but truths, you're not gossiping, you are being nice to everybody and everything and loving everybody like you should, you're going to notice the world start to love you a whole lot more. And the second agreement is to never take anything personally. And that is simply because nothing other people do is directly related to you. Most people do things based on their own actions and forethoughts. They're not doing something because you said something or you did something. And if you feel like that, then you probably should take a step back and kind of reevaluate the situation and realize, you know, that it wasn't your fault for whatever it was that happened. And if you feel like you are at fault and you have the chance, start asking questions, which actually leads me into the third agreement, which is to never assume anything. Because when you start assuming things, you start building all of these negative stories and all of these thoughts and feeding your mind all of this negativity, and you start believing it, and it becomes poison in your mind, and you just believe all of the stuff that's probably not even true. 99% of the things that we assume are completely false accusations. So stop assuming things. Just start asking questions. The more questions you ask, the more insight you're gonna have on life and everything that's going around you, and the more happy you are gonna be. And the last agreement, which is the 4th agreement, is to always do your best. When you are always doing your best, always trying your best to not take things personally and hold yourself accountable, you definitely will notice that you feel a lot happier, you are a lot happier, because you're doing everything in your power to make things better. And that's all we can do as people, is to do our best every day. Wake up with a smile and go to sleep with a smile and share it with everybody else around us. So guys, I hope I was able to help you in any ways possible. I really did enjoy sharing this vlog with you guys. I'm looking forward to making some more soon. So let me know if you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, then you probably shouldn't even be watching it at all. I don't know why you're still here. And if you guys like my videos, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I truly appreciate it, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.